one of the ways we see it is at Vaucluse, we actually have an amazing restaurant with a one-hatted chef. And this restaurant just isn't for the members at Vaucluse. It's open to all of the public, and the whole public will be allowed to come in. So we're hoping to integrate the public, the community, back into our area of retirement.
I like the word ageing friendly in the question,
Yes.
because really that is what our philosophy is about. It is about creating a lifestyle and environment, care services when needed, but it's about also integrating the staff in a way that the staff are inspired, not coming to work doing drudge work, which can be in an aged care facility, but they're actually part of the community, and the community is based around the residents. So it's a resident or members-centric community of which the staff are part of, and then the relatives and the external community is the greater catchment. We're at a good point in time in Australia because we're moving into a new space called consumer-directed care. And what's positive about that is that people will be given the resources, the money to be able to buy or choose what type of care services they want. And if you look at the history of ageing and look at New Zealand, when New Zealanders had a relatively free market for ageing, there was a lot of innovation. So I'm expecting that in Australia you will see more innovation than we have before. There'll be less government-dependent driven change, and it will be more about the private sector supported by the charitable sector driving what can be done in aged care, and that's what we're doing ourselves. So we're sort of at the forefront of that, and speaking from personal experience.
I agree with what Mark has said. It's just where Australia's been given an opportunity to have more choices, more free will over what's going to happen to them, and I think it's a good result.
It's interesting in Asia because I've been speaking in Singapore since the 90s. So if I look at Singapore as an example, there is a large degree of dependency upon the government funding. And as in Australia, it's the same scenario. When you have government funding driving the innovation, it tends to put a bit of a cap on innovation. So I would say that in some ways, in my experience, Asia is entwined with government funding, and therefore it's organisations like Ageing Asia that are pushing the envelope, who are thinking outside the box, that will drive the innovation, and government then catches up. So it will happen. It is happening, and there's some fantastic organisations in Singapore and elsewhere in Asia, and it's inspiring to see those organisations really coming to conferences like this, thinking for themselves and thinking, well, how can we do a better service? I
think the same thing, that the people will drive the government to force change. It will eventually happen in Asia, in Singapore.
The event's inspiring.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
We wouldn't miss Ageing Asia with our family, which is our children, Max and Sapphira, for the world. We love it. We love it's almost like I see it as a generosity of spirit of people coming together, that there's an intentionality that we can make a difference, but together we can make a difference, and we can make a difference. And I think the part of my experience with Ageing Asia and the people at the conference is it's almost like we're looking at, well, what would you do for your grandparent? What would you do for your parent? And that seems to be a common theme, saying, well, we want to do better for our parents, we want to do better for our grandparents, and we want to do better for the legacy that we leave for our children. And that's, if you think of how powerful that is as a common theme, that's what we experience at Ageing Asia.
Yeah, and the other thing with Ageing Asia, it allows us to bring our team over from Australia, and they love it, and it's just a wonderful bonding experience for everyone. And we throw a few ideas around and find out like what we want to do. Like everyone's out of their little box back in Sydney, so we're able here to be more cerebral and think, oh, okay, what do we want to do? How do we want to drive things in our business? And everyone has a voice, and I find with Ageing Asia that we are allowed to do that, like have little breakaway sections with our team, which is fantastic because we never get the opportunity to do that in Sydney.